I know. I am doing something that I have not done before, but I've wanted to do for a long time. So I'm going to be doing a plant installation for a pop-up ceramics gallery show type thing. I'm also doing this with my friend JiaHao. You guys probably know JiaHao. I did his plant tour video a while back. So we're partnering together and doing the plant and floral installation for the event. I'm gonna go with JiaHao right now to check out the space. He is really amazing with Ikebana and floral arrangement, so I'm just super excited to see what we can do. I'll take you guys along with us on our journey. Like I said, we are gonna head over to the studio and see what we are gonna be working with. Here is the entrance of the studio. So this studio used to be a shop for like ceramics and other home goods, but they are no longer using it. Carrie reached out, she's the woman that you see here, and she asked if we wanted to do a collaboration where we kind of like add some flowers and some plants with her ceramics. On the shelves, Carrie is going to display her ceramics, and then JiaHao and I will do floral and plant installations in them. So there are all these holes in the wall that we need to cover up. I think we're gonna try and use a curtain. In this room, this is where we're gonna have most of our plant installation things. JiaHao is thinking of creating a big mound of soil and creating a flower arrangement with it and around it. And then I'm thinking of hanging some things and then mounting some of my staghorn ferns and then putting some large plants in this room. And then this room is going to be used for workshops that occur throughout the weekend. There's like a meditation workshop, a painting workshop, and then JiaHao and I are going to host a flower arranging workshop. And then we discussed some ideas for the space, but I didn't bring my tripod, so my phone fell. And then we checked out some of the work that Carrie wanted to display. She's venturing into like abstract sculpture ceramics. Now I'm on my way back home, and Theo is like so excited to see me because it's pretty late. It is the next day now. I have this book that I thrifted a while ago, but I never read. And I just opened it up and started reading it, and there's so much to learn about Ikebana. I tried to make an arrangement myself with the few pages I read in this book. So I just went around my apartment and cut some leaves from plants that I have. I created my own little arrangement. I have some cypress papyrus that I got from my balcony, and then here's a Pelea peperomioides leaf, and then a begonia raja leaf, and then this random plant that I found in front of my neighbor's house. And then those little purple flowers are just weeds that were growing out of one of my plants on my balcony. And then here is a branch that I cut off from my silk floss tree. It's a very pretty pink, like a little pom-pom. We have about 10 days until the event. I'm just practicing in the meantime. JiaHao's much more experienced and skilled at floral arrangement than I am. This is probably like my first ever floral arrangement that I really tried on. I hope to learn like a lot from JiaHao as well. I feel like we inspire each other a lot. I'm gonna keep experimenting. It's kind of fun just to find things around my apartment that I think would go together. And then the next time that Chris, Theo, and I go on a walk, I'm gonna bring my scissors and cut some flowers and branches from public property though. I'm mostly focusing on the plant installations. JiaHao is doing more of the flower arrangement. It's fun, it's like we're a little team. So it's been a few days since I last recorded, and tomorrow JiaHao and I are gonna go set up at the studio. But first I wanted to get a tall plant to fill in some of the empty space. So I went to this nursery that I've been meaning to go to for a while because they do have some really cool tall plants. Everything is just more expensive than I thought. There are these giant ficus umbellata that are about 8 to 10 feet tall, and then they have a lot of other tall plants as well. They also have these very mature staghorn ferns. I don't even know if they're for sale, but if they are, they're probably super expensive. And then they had some houseplants back in the greenhouse, but I am not really here for houseplants, so I didn't pick anything up. I chose this tall Dracaena reflexa. It's about 6 or 7 feet tall. I spent a lot more money than I wanted to. This plant was $195, which I did not really want to buy, but I wanted a larger plant to fill in some of the space at the studio. So because I just didn't have enough time to find something else, I decided to get this. But there are multiple plants in the pot, and I'm gonna give one of these plants to my mom for her birthday, which is coming up. And then I can also give some to a few friends or my neighbors. I'm gonna unwrap it from its sleeve, and then I'm going to spruce it up and then get it ready to bring to the studio tomorrow. It is Wednesday, And today is the day that JiaHao and I are going to the studio to set up. So we're bringing plants, lighting stuff. JiaHao's also bringing like cinder blocks to do a floral arrangement thing, which is pretty cool. I'm bringing moss, some plants, lights, some furniture pieces, my big saguaro fern, a curtain, a bunch of things because it is my first time doing something like this and I want it to be nice because I feel like it's a representation of what I can do and my work. I'm gonna get everything together and then we're gonna pack it in the car. Hopefully everything fits and then we're gonna go to the studio. I grabbed my piece of wood, my top dressing, and my scissors. Top dressing is to make the plants look nice once I pot them in her pots. I don't know what we're gonna do with this piece of wood. Maybe use it for an arrangement, I don't know. It looks cool, so I know we'll use it somewhere. So I might do like a little aquarium thing. I think maybe I could incorporate like a flower arrangement slash aquarium. I am bringing these plants. I think I'm gonna use these to pot into her pots. We're on our way to the studio. My plants here. It's pretty late now. We're gonna get there at like 7:10 p.m. We have all the plants and stuff in the back. Late working day. Woo. We got here at the same time as JiaHao. He brought some of his larger plants for decoration, like this amazing Dracaena marginata. It has such a beautiful shape to it. We're bringing everything inside and now we need to clear the space and move this big shelf out of the way. Here we are. It's empty right now, but we have some cool ideas. We have these cinder blocks that JiaHao's gonna do something with.
Incense here, and then I feel like that will go with that.
With installation. I got 14, I think. 14? I wasn't sure. Normally I like to eat like 4 or 12. Oh yeah. We're putting up this cloth to cover up the holes in the wall, but the color is too dark and doesn't really match Carrie's aesthetic very well, so we ended up taking it down and replacing it later. I started preparing the Dracaena reflexa and looked for a good spot to place it. JiaHao began arranging his cinder blocks for his installation. Now we're pouring the soil on top to create a mound. JiaHao then placed some rocks around for detail. His plan is to put flowers and other cut plants in the cinder blocks and in the soil. It's a really cool idea, like a living sculpture coming from the ground. And then he's also gonna add some of Carrie's incense holders with the installation. Now I'm setting up the temporary aquarium using the stones and the piece of wood that I have. Tomorrow we're going to the flower market and I'm gonna use flowers and other plants for the aquarium. Now I'm up here redirecting the air vents so the fog doesn't just get completely blown away. JiaHao is pairing his pinguicula with one of Carrie's ceramics. She's going to sell some of her ceramics paired with our plants. Here is the little grouping I put together with the plant and light, and here is how JiaHao's piece is coming along. It is 10:22 p.m. Chris and I are heading home now. We're getting gas. But yeah, we got a lot of like the ideas in place and a lot of the things set up, and we have a pretty good idea for what we're gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do like the floral arrangements and then add a few more plants that I'm gonna bring. Chris and I are meeting JiaHao at the downtown flower market at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and it's already 10:22, which is way past our bedtime. So we're just gonna go home, get some rest, wake up early, and then go to the flower market. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Hello. Okay, we're going right now. How do you feel, Chris?
I'm really tired.
Yeah. We arrived at the downtown flower market a little bit before JiaHao. This place is a large warehouse with multiple vendors. I paid $2 to get in, and here is my little sticker. There are these massive mature air plants that are stunning, and I ended up purchasing this one. There are a ton of interesting florals to choose from. They have these giant monstera leaves for sale that are only $5. We checked out the houseplant section while waiting for JiaHao. Then JiaHao arrived with some coffee for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Which one is which? I think
We bought some shallow dishes for the flower arranging workshop we're hosting. We are supplying everything people will need to create an arrangement. And then we're also allowing them to take everything home. We're picking out the flowers and I'm choosing anything that looks interesting. I don't really have much of a plan, but I do know that I want to have too much rather than too little because we'll need enough flowers for our own arrangements as well as the 15 students we'll have for our workshop. We're also choosing plants and flowers that will last a few days since the actual workshop and event are 2 days away. There was a vendor selling these orchids for only $1 because they already flowered, and I'm thinking the foliage would make a really good cover for the hanging installation I'm going to create. Here are most of the things we purchased. JiaHao is doing his best to fit everything in his car, and we also brought these buckets of water so the flowers don't wilt. JiaHao took us back home and he played with Theo for a little bit before heading to his work. Look at all of these flowers and foliage things that we got. It honestly cost a lot of money, probably like a little over $300 between JiaHao and I, but we want it to be good and we want to be proud of our work and be excited to show our friends and people who visit. We're going back to the studio later tonight to finish setting everything up, but here's the giant air plant I bought. I am in love with it. I'm taking some cuttings from the cypress plants in my ponds to bring because I think they look really good in arrangements. Chris and I took a nap and then we got everything packed and went back to the studio. Also, the studio is like 1 hour away from our house because traffic in LA is really bad. Going back to the studio for round 2. It's 7:40 and we're gonna get there at around 8. Here is the other curtain we brought instead to cover the holes. I think this one fits the aesthetic much better. I'm planning to create a hanging tamandama using my long Anthurium pendants, so we're seeing how it will look hanging here. We mounted my Platycerium superbum to fill in this empty space, but it looks so tiny here compared to how it looks in my home. The ceilings are just so much bigger that it makes the plant look super tiny. JiaHao is preparing his installation for flowers. He's cutting this flower foam to fit into his cinder blocks. They hold water and allow you to place flower or plant cuttings in them. I'm putting my aquarium arrangement together. I'm using some orchid flowers, Pilea peperomioides leaves, and this fake mossball plant we found at the flower market. My idea is kind of like a misty mountainscape. Now I'm preparing my Anthurium pendants to create into a large hanging kokedama flower arrangement. So I'm currently working on the tamandama with the Anthurium pendants, and I put this together, temporary flower arrangement aquarium hybrid. And then let's go see what JiaHao's doing. So what's your plan for this, the moss maybe? Chris is helping me wrap the Anthurium pendants with moss. It's really difficult to do this by myself, so I'm very thankful to Chris for being here to help out. He's been helping throughout this entire process and he's also filming everything. So a huge thank you to Chris. This video wouldn't be possible without him. I started mounting live orchids on the arrangement, then added some cut flowers. I love the hanging, drooping look of the flowers with the pendants. I'm finishing it off by wrapping live moss around the entire thing. JiaHao helped me put it up because I am scared of ladders. JiaHao's installation is looking amazing. I love how my hanging piece and his piece kind of go together. He said they're talking to each other, which I think is really cute. I'm potting some plants in Carrie ceramics, and JiaHao's putting the finishing touches on his piece and watering everything. Now we are cleaning up, and then we'll come back tomorrow morning to finish up and take photos and show you guys the reveal. It is the next morning, one day before the event. I'm at JiaHao's place because we're going back to the studio to do some final touches and take some photos of everything. Also, his home and plants are looking amazing as always. I'm in love with his stackhorn fern setup he has on his balcony. We are here at the studio. Everything is still alive and well. We had some extra time, so I created an arrangement inside my stackhorn fern to make it look a little bit more interesting. JiaHao is watering everything to make sure the installations stay alive and fresh. JiaHao put this little arrangement together super fast, and I'm making this cute little pink arrangement using one of Carrie's ceramics. So this is the entrance when you first walk in. JiaHao and I still need to do this area. We'll do that on Sunday before the workshop. That big Tillandsia I bought, I thought it would look cool here. And then I made this little aquarium flower arrangement thing. This curtain we brought from Chris's room. And then this is JiaHao's big Dracaena. I kind of want it. And then this is where we did a lot of the cool stuff. So this is JiaHao's creation. It's amazing. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a cool flower plant arrangement, and it looks nice from all angles, and I don't know what to say about it because there's so much to say about it, I guess. This is the temporary tamandama I made with my very long Anthurium pendants, and then I put orchids and live moss around it. And then this is my Platycerium superbum. You can't really see what's going on up top. If you look from the top down, it's a mess. Like this begonia is just in a pot, but it looks really good. Like it complements the plant very well. Over here is the Dracaena reflexa that I purchased. I just stuck some orchids and some other things in there to make it look a little bit more interesting. And then JiaHao made this arrangement. Very pretty. I put together this arrangement really quick. I took some of the berries off and I had them float on the water because, I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Very simple, but I think it looks special. We're not gonna go back to the studio until Sunday morning. We're gonna go early in the morning. I am going to rest and sleep because I have not gotten much sleep the past couple of days. But yeah, I'm really happy with how everything's turned out. It looks pretty cool so far, so I'm excited for Sunday. I'm kind of nervous, but mostly excited. Okay, bye guys. It is the day of the workshop and event. The workshop starts at 11 a.m., but we came early to set up and make sure everything is ready. The meditation workshop teacher left behind a gong and some sound bath instruments, so I was having fun playing with them. We spruced up the installations and added a few more staghorn ferns to fill in the wall. 11 a.m. came around and people started filling in. We had 15 spots for the workshop and it sold out, so that's pretty cool. We were able to make most of the money back that we spent on our materials. So JiaHao and I started teaching. I think it went pretty well. I was honestly a little nervous because I'm so used to talking in front of my camera, and when I record myself, I can repeat sentences or edit words out or refer to my notes. But when talking in front of a large group, I can't really do that. But I will say that I'm proud of myself for doing this and putting myself out there. I also felt pretty good because there were all these people here that were eager to learn, expand their creativity, and come together to learn a skill. Everyone was also super sweet and I had a great time meeting everyone. It was also nice having Chris there to support me and to have JiaHao there as my co-teacher. We gave instructions about the materials we're using, like the flowers, the kenzan, and the dish. We gave some tips about how we approach arrangements and some principles that we've learned, like starting with the biggest piece first, taking depth into account. JiaHao quickly made an example arrangement and then went on to talk a little bit about the different flowers and foliage we are providing. Then all the students went to choose the flowers and started creating their own arrangements. JiaHao and I then went around and helped people that were struggling or wanted advice. After the workshop finished, people came in and out of the studio to check out our work, and JiaHao and I answered any questions people had. It was a really fun experience seeing people in person. I had great chats with a lot of you. It's nice feeling like our work is appreciated, and I felt really grateful for that. I didn't record much during the rest of the event, but my parents and brother ended up visiting later in the day, and it was amazing to have them there to support me after a long week. That was just what I needed to finish off the day. We cleaned up the studio and brought everything home. It was really nice that my parents came because they helped me clean and drive stuff home. If they weren't there, then Chris and I would have had to make 2 trips, which would have been a lot of work. Oh, hi Theo. Okay, hello, I am back home now. I had a bunch of fun, but I am very tired. It was nice meeting everyone, but I'm gonna just rest today and I'll give you guys more of an update tomorrow about how things went and what we did and stuff. Also, what are you doing? It's been a few days since I last recorded. When you guys last saw me, I was super exhausted just from not getting enough sleep. I didn't record the day of the event that well, so I'm going to include some pictures of the studio space and the installations that we did and the rooms. I'm always very in the moment when I'm meeting people in person, and I want to be able to give them my full attention. I don't want to be like, wait, hold on, and then take out my camera and then start recording or something. The event was super fun. I'm glad that I was able to be very creative with everything. I also liked that it was a shared first experience with JiaHao. One of the highlights of the event for me was this 13-year-old girl who came with her family. It was her birthday, and it was her birthday wish to come to my event. And her family lives like an hour or over an hour away from the studio space. I can't believe that she wanted to come to my pop-up for her birthday. I thought that was just so sweet. It was really nice seeing how supportive her parents were. I gave one of my passifloras to her as a birthday gift, but her dad was like, no, I want to pay you for what you're doing here. Like, what you're doing is really great. And that just made me feel like really happy. If you weren't able to visit or be part of the workshop, I hope this video makes you feel like you were there. Thank you to everyone for your support, whether it's in person or online, and thank you for making my first experience a great one. What kind of noises are you making?